Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here for my February challenge update. It's a little bit later in the month than I was able to get back here. In January, I think I was here for the update closer to the middle of the month, but that's okay. There's still time left in the month, and so I'm going to just kind of share what's been going well, what I didn't get as far along on as I thought I would, and just give you kind of a couple sneak peeks. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my challenge update with a sneak peek of my January challenge, which was remember to make something from project leftovers. I'm just going to share a quick sneak peek. It's all done. It's quilted. As you can see, I need to bind this. So I will get this bound and I will share the full review of this in March. I just wanted to show you really quickly. I ended up doing a really soft flannel for the backing, and it just is a Lisa Bonjean flannel, not from the same collection as these scraps, but it just worked out really well. And I have this scrappy binding with a lot of the different prints, and it just seemed to really work well with this flannel. And I had this flannel in my sewing room already. I didn't have to order it. I had actually ordered some for a friend for some quilt backings, and this was left over and it was enough to do my quilt. So I was able to make this quilt completely from my stash. And as I mentioned, I'll be sharing that with you later. I'll get this bound over the next couple of nights while I watch television. Okay, these little blocks I haven't mentioned yet, but they just got thrown in the mix for February. What happened was these are socialites blocks for the Fat Quarter Shop quilt along that's going on right now. And I designed 2 blocks for that quilt along, and way back in August, I made my first block in the 9-inch size. And then I got so busy and I got behind, but I really wanted to make this quilt. And so I got a bunch of projects finished up earlier this month and decided to go back to this, and I decided to do the 3-inch finished size. So the first thing I did was remake my original block in the 3-inch finished size. And then what I did is I made the block for the current week. This is kind of my technique when I get behind on something. This is what I do. If I've already made something and I'm really far behind, I will just start where I'm at. And it's just kind of something that a friend taught me back in my scrapbooking days. She kind of got me into scrapbooking, and my kids were a little bit older, and I was a little bit overwhelmed trying to go back and do all their books. And she said, just start now and go back and do the older ones later. And so that's what I did with this. I made the current week's block. This was block 20 from last week. Then I first remade my original block. This was number 5. This is number 20. Then what I did was I went and I made a couple of earlier ones that I was behind on. So this is block 19 by Lisa Alexander and block 18 by Corey Yoder. So what I've done now is I've got 4 blocks done. There are 36 blocks in this quilt project. There are 16 left, and I have 16 that I'm behind on. So my plan is just to make at least 1 extra block each week. And that way, by the time we get to block number 36, I will have them all done. Now, I have to tell you, I might get a lot of, these are kind of addicting, these little 3-inch blocks. So I kind of think I might get caught up sooner than later. But that's my plan, is at least to make the block for the week and 1 extra. So this is kind of a February challenge for myself that just kind of got added into the mix. Okay, I talked about the table runner I want to make from the Top the Table book, and I'm still planning on doing that. I'm just going to flip it open to the picture here to show you really quickly. And the method that these go together in, they actually have you sewing these triangles around a template by hand. And so what I did was I realized that I could purchase little templates from Paper Pieces. And so you just get on their website and you get the finished size that you need for the pattern that you're making. And I looked up what they needed to be in the book. I measured the sizes of the template in the book, and then I ordered that same size. So this is going to make that project go much more quickly. I plan on cutting out my fabrics this weekend and putting this all in a little basket. And when I don't have something to bind, I can sew these by hand when I watch TV. So that's how I'm doing on that project. So I'm not too worried about that one. I think it's going to go a lot easier now that I have the templates. Okay, for my half square triangle project, this is it. This is all I have to share. But with that being said, I just recently designed a half square triangle quilt that I'm going to need to make for a book. And so I am going to be sewing lots of half square triangles for that quilt. And my plan this weekend also is to get some of these fabrics just pinned to the paper so that I can kind of slip some of these in along with that other project I have to do. And along the half square triangle line, I did some cleaning this week. I had to do some reorganizing in the sewing room. I brought in a bookshelf and was figuring out what to put where. And I found these half square triangles from a swap I did a few years ago. And I was so excited because I'm going to get these sewn up this year too. This is going to be the year for these half square triangles. So what this swap was, it was a group of friends, and I didn't actually know all the people at the time. My friend who invited me to participate, it was a lot of people she knew. And so you did darks and lights. And so this is so similar to my grandmother's quilt that I showed you last time. And everybody did these little baggies. I can't even remember how many are in every bag, but it's going to be a great scrap quilt. And I just have baggie after baggie after baggie with these fun half square triangles. I'm super excited. And some of them don't have names, but some of them do. And I was really excited to find a couple people that I didn't know well back then, but that I know really well now. And so it was really fun that some of these half square triangles were sent in by people that I'm good friends with now. So I feel like I'm going to kind of alter this. I'm going to keep making my Christmas ones, but I think I'm going to try to start sewing some of these together. So next time I film, hopefully I'll have some of these put into blocks. And I think I'm going to, as I mentioned before, I'm going to put them all the same direction with the lights and the darks in the same position. And I don't know, I think I'll make like 9 patch blocks and just start sewing 9 patch blocks right now. And this is going to be a really fun quilt, so scrappy and so different. So I think I'll just start laying these out in groups of 9, or I don't know, maybe even 16, and just put them on some of my project boards and leave them by my sewing machine so I can get them sewn together. So that's kind of where I'm at on the half square triangle front. I've got a lot of these. I think what I'll do too is I'll just sew about half of them that I have and then start adding in some of my own muted fabrics so that they're not, so that I don't just have these older fabrics in one section of the quilt and newer fabrics in another section. I'm going to really try to mix it up. So anyway, that is where I'm at with my February challenge. I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's important to not worry so much about the things that maybe you didn't get as far along with as you wanted, especially when you've added in other projects. So I hope that you're doing the same. Okay, that's it for my February challenge update. These challenges and updates are really keeping me accountable, and they're keeping me thinking about what I need to do and what I need to get done. I hope that you are doing that as well, and that you are keeping track either with a friend or writing it down so that you can celebrate the things that you have finished and just keep working on the things that you haven't. If you enjoyed this video, please share with a friend, hit the subscribe button and the like button. And thanks so much for stopping by.